Okay, I think I'll go ahead and begin. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining our webinar today. My name is Bettina Geisbuehler. I'm Director of Business Development and Global Outreach here at the Business Network for Offshore Wind. Again, thank you for joining us, and I'm thrilled to see so many of you here. And I'm excited to introduce our program, Global Gateway, and our upcoming delegation trips to Europe, Asia, and South America. Before we start today, I want to remind everyone that this webinar is being recorded, and there will be some opportunity for questions at the end of the presentation. We do have a Q&A button where you can type in some questions, so feel free to ask your questions in there and we'll get to it at the end. Quick agenda for today. I will give you a brief introduction to Global Gateway and how to participate. Then we have a guest speaker, Michael Jackson from the commercial service in Maryland, and he will give a brief overview of ITA and commercial service support. Then I will give an overview of the upcoming delegation trips throughout 2024. And then, of course, we'll go in depth into the upcoming trip in September to WindEnergy Hamburg, as well as talk about some experiences we've had on past delegation trips. We do have a past participant of our delegation trip in April, Dave Jones from Saildrone. Global Gateway is offered by the Business Network, and it directly connects US-based companies to the international offshore wind marketplace and supply chain. And we will do this by organized delegation trips to key markets in Europe, Asia, and South America. And this program not only provides you access to our in-depth offshore wind knowledge and takes advantage of our connections through international introductions and education, It also leverages our event planning capabilities and puts you in environments that provide hands-on, in-person learning experiences. So through these delegation trips, we will bring you to these different markets for you to connect and partner with international companies to accelerate the export of your products and services on a global scale. Traveling with us in a US delegation helps you leverage the power of our marketing. We will plan each trip and plan the booths and make sure that it is an easy organization for you, so you don't have to plan all the booth aspects. We will handle all that with your logo and your marketing on it. And then another great aspect about traveling with a delegation is you meet so many people. Even delegates themselves have created lifelong relationships, and it's really a great experience to be with a group of people for a couple days. We have partnered with the International Trade Administration, and ITA is a US Department of Commerce branch, and its mission is to strengthen the competitiveness of the US market and US industry by promoting trade and investment. And here today, we do have a guest speaker from the commercial service, Michael Jackson.
Thank you, Bettina. Good morning, everyone. It's a pleasure to be with you. Thank you for taking time out of your busy schedules to attend this webinar. Before I jump into my content, I just want to give a special thank you to Bettina and the team at BNOW, who is an awesome organization and partner that we're working with and look forward to working with through this program. So, as was mentioned, I am Michael Jackson. I like to use the K because, you know, there's some other popular Michael Jacksons out there. But so I'll say I'm Michael K. Jackson. And as was mentioned, I am a part of the U.S. Commercial Service, which is the export promotion unit within the Department of Commerce's International Trade Administration. And we are the We call ourselves the export experts, and we are, really dedicated to assisting you all as business owners, particularly small business owners, to expand into international markets. I'm part of a cadre of over 200 trade specialists that are located throughout the United States and throughout the globe as well. We have over 80 international offices that are located in embassies and consulates throughout the world. And our office, and since this is concerning our upcoming trip to Germany, our office, the CS office, commercial service office, is in Berlin. And we, throughout the world, we also partner with the State Department. And there's a State Department office in Hamburg that we're actually coordinating with as well. So, we're able to give you that international reach, particularly if you're just kind of stepping into exporting and international trade. We have a number of different services that we provide to assist you in expanding in overseas markets, and I'll touch on them briefly in the brief time that I have today, so that you can just whet your appetite, and we can always touch base after the webinar if you have deeper questions. Or not all of you are here in Maryland where I am. I'm happy to connect you with my counterparts in other offices across the country. So first and foremost, we provide export counseling. So, we would actually sit with you to discuss what your international marketing objectives are, and then create a plan to actually get you into more markets overseas. So we provide counseling. We do that also in conjunction, it's worthy mentioning, with our state trade development partners as well. So here in Maryland, we work very closely with the Maryland Department of Commerce to provide you various services up to and including counseling. To give a quick example, here in Maryland, the Maryland Department of Commerce provides you 30 free hours of market research that you can then use to build your plan that will allow us to kind of take you to whatever market you're interested in overseas. So that's export counseling. It's also worthy of mentioning that we also assist you in updating your website. In this day and age, e-commerce is a strong element to marketing overseas. So we actually have an in-depth service where we actually take a look at your website and help you globalize that website. Market intelligence. We provide various forms of market intelligence. There's something called the country commercial guides that can be found on our website, trade.gov. That's a comprehensive report that gives you information about the political environment, the commercial environment in various countries, and what the best, the highest growth markets or growth areas in those particular markets are. And, I have to mention that Bettina mentioned that, the U.S. Commercial Service is a part of the ITA, which is part of the Department of Commerce. There's another unit within ITA called Industry and Analysis that actually does these reports. And I believe my partner in crime, Chris Herman, is on this webinar somewhere virtually listening in. So shout out to the INA team for putting together these country commercial guides, which provides you the market intelligence that allows you to make effective decisions in terms of which markets to go to. We also provide business matchmaking. And I would say the business matchmaking function is really our bread and butter. You heard me mention earlier that I'm part of a group of international trade specialists that are located here in the U.S. And by extension, we have a team of specialists that are located in embassies and consulates around the globe. Part of our main function is really to connect you all with potential distributors, potential partners in various markets around the globe for your product or service. In this case, since we're focusing in on Germany, the trade show in Germany coming up in Hamburg, again, we have an office in Berlin that we coordinate with. And we have industry specialists that focus and have a keen knowledge of the opportunities on the ground for your product or service. So one of our matchmaking services is probably the most popular one. It's called the Gold Key service, where we actually prearrange up to 5 meetings with potential buyers, distributors, partners overseas. You travel to the country, and we actually, again, prearrange those meetings. You don't have to worry about the logistics of setting up the meetings or anything. We provide that service for you, and you get to meet and decide which potential distributors are the best fit for you. And now we had kind of put that service on hold during COVID. We have another service called the International Partner Search Plus Virtual Introduction, which is basically a virtual Gold Key, if you will, where we would, instead of in-person meetings, we'd set these meetings up for you virtually, not unlike this webinar today. So again, that's our bread and butter in terms of us matching you with potential partners overseas. And then there's commercial diplomacy. So we advocate on your behalf as a U.S. business around the globe. We always see that in terms of diplomacy, we have, or in terms of advocacy, we have big A advocacy and little a advocacy. The big A advocacy, we have an advocacy center that's located at our Washington, D.C. headquarters that assists you in competing for foreign government contracts around the globe. So we kind of even the playing field for you there. Small A advocacy, if you encounter any issues in terms of doing business overseas, we could step in and actually assist you with that issue. So that's how we kind of advocate as the U.S. government, for you. So it's a great tool in terms of having the U.S. government backing you as you, develop your business and grow your business overseas. And then finally, it's worth mentioning, we sponsored trade shows and trade missions. So hence, our partnership with BNow and the Global Gateway Program, where we are working hand in hand with BNow to take you all to various markets around the globe to help you build your offshore wind business. So in a nutshell, that is U.S. commercial service. I could go on, and I'm sure I've exceeded my time. So my apologies, Bettina. But again, if you have any questions at all, feel free to reach out to me, and I will direct you, because I know the audience is countrywide. So happy to connect you with my counterparts in other offices around the country.
Thank you so much, Michael. Great overview of ITA and the commercial service. And we do really appreciate our partnership and believe it is very beneficial to all the people that are traveling with us and want to accelerate their exports. As I mentioned earlier, Global Gateway is designed to directly connect your organization to the international offshore wind marketplace. We do this through delegation trips as well as webinars. So every month or so, every other month, we'll have a webinar about a specific market where we have experts from that market join and explain a bit what the opportunities are in those markets for U.S. companies. Our delegation trips bring you to well-known industry conferences. Even though virtual tours and webinars are great, it's nothing like being actually in person and meeting with various organizations from various countries. And we do believe that going on an actual trip is very, very beneficial for everyone. We had our first delegation trip over to Spain and Portugal early April, where we attended the Wind Europe conference. Again, it was really great to see sessions and meet with different companies, and Dave will speak as well about that, how it was nice to really connect and partner with Europeans. In about 2 weeks, we will be going to the Global Offshore Wind Conference in Manchester, UK. There again, we have a great delegation set up, and a big USA pavilion booth, very centralized, and are very excited to join that trip. We also were able to organize some speaking opportunities for our delegates. So that is also a perk about joining with us with our connections, and we can arrange for our delegates to have some speaking spots. And of course, WindEnergy Hamburg, our main conference for this webinar, will be in September. I'll have some more in-depth information about that shortly. In 2024, I think I skipped 23, here we go. Again, like this year, we're planning to go to Wind Europe in April. Next year's will be in Copenhagen. We will also be going to the Global Offshore Wind Conference again in London this time. It will be in the summer. And we're hoping to either go to the Asian Wind Energy Conference or the Japan Wind Energy Conference. The dates have not been set online yet, so I will, as soon as we know, we will start planning those. Finally, 24, 25, we're hoping to go to Brazil as well. Again, maybe pick and choose if we go to Europe again, but these are kind of the conferences we would like to attend again. And now I will talk about WindEnergy Hamburg, which is in end of September this year. And the conference is very large. There's about 35,000 attendees that participate in this conference, 1,400 exhibitors, 100 nations, 10 exhibition halls. So it's definitely very large scale, but a really great opportunity for your organizations to meet with potential partners. There is the Global Markets Theater. We are trying to organize some speaking spots for our delegates here as well. And the Global Markets Theater is a great place to meet experts, find out about new opportunities in major and emerging markets, and to find partners for your projects. So if you also just attend these, you will see presentations about various markets where you have opportunities to enter into. Then there's the New Horizons stage. And this is a presentation sessions with public and private, and as well as some people from the government. And then finally, the Speakers Corner is for exhibitors where they can sign up for 10-minute speaking slots. It's first come, first serve. But here they can, again, talk about the organization, the opportunity they have, their innovation, product highlights. And this will also be a great place for potential partners and customers to see you present about your organization. There is also the Wind Energy Match session throughout the program. And that is, again, kind of signed up sessions where you can meet with potential clients or partners. And I believe there is a platform for that, and you just sign up what kind of organizations you would like to meet with. And as many conferences, there are a lot of networking sessions, a lot of coffee and sweets sessions, so where you can just mingle and meet with different partners. And why should you join us? We organize this whole trip, so all you have to do is get on a plane and come over to the market. We have a big USA Pavilion booth again, where you will have the chance to showcase your organization. We have graphics that will be made with your logos and your information on it. And this year, our booth is very well located. It's near all the pavilions, the international pavilions, and near the Global Markets Theater. And again, since it's such a large conference, sometimes it's hard to get that visibility, but we are in a really great location, right by a walking path. So a lot of attendees will be walking by our booth. And as I mentioned before, speaking opportunities, we are working with the show organizers to get some slots for our delegates to speak about their organization. Industry introductions before we leave for our trip. We will have a meeting with you and kind of discuss what kind of companies you're looking for to meet with, what your opportunities are, and we'll make those introductions through our large network. And in the end, we'll give you some hotel recommendations to make it easier for you to just book and come with us. Before each trip, we'll also do another brief webinar just for the delegates to kind of go over our itinerary in depth and any questions they might have. And for the actual itinerary, we plan to arrive in Hamburg in the Monday before the conference begins, September 26th. And there we'll have a welcome dinner reception just to kind of meet with the delegates and go over the next couple of days. Then there will be 4 days of the conference. It's a very long conference, but I think each day has its own great programming and session. So it will be definitely a lot of networking and getting face-to-face with organizations you can potentially work with. Lastly, I'd love to kind of go over one of our past trips that we had. In April, we went to Bilbao, Spain, to attend the Wind Europe conference, but we also did some sightseeing, industry related. We went to the port of Bilbao to view the Demosaf floating platform prototype. And we had a day here with SciTech and RWE to kind of go over their projects, and they gave us a great overview of floating offshore wind. And here is our group, all in secured PPE. And it was really great to see offshore wind up close and not only on photographs or maps. We also met with some different organizations, a blade facility, tower facility, and then after attending the Wind Europe conference, we went over to Porto in Portugal and were able to connect with Principal Power and Ocean Winds regarding their Windfloat Atlantic wind farm. So again, this just shows you we always have a great organization for these trips. We try to plan out as much great content that we can provide. Some of these trips will have some attached actual site tours to them. We're still kind of looking at the Hamburg show and seeing if we can attach any site visits or bigger meetings or receptions with certain companies. And with that, I'll hand it over to Dave. Dave is with Saildrone, and he attended our delegation trip and the Wind Europe conference and even won a poster award. Dave?
Thanks, Bettina. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Great. Okay, so as Bettina said, I'm Dave Jones and I work for Saildrone. So if you don't know about us, we design, build, and operate the world's largest fleet of uncrewed surface vehicles for ocean data collection. And I was privileged to join the delegation that went over to Europe for the Wind Europe show. And I'll just take a few minutes to tell you about my experience. I have been involved with the Business Network for about 6 years now. It's a great organization, and I was really thrilled to be able to join Bettina and the rest of the group on this great trip. So two things that stick out to me about this trip to Win Europe: the relationships that you build, both with the business network staff and also the other delegates. You form relationships that, as Bettina mentioned earlier, last a lifetime. There's no substitute for being immersed in the environment and learning together and meeting and discussing all various aspects of your business and how you can work together. There's really no substitute for that, and it's a great way to do that. And then the other part of it is the education you get. It was really eye-opening to be able to see how things are actually done, and to see operational wind farms in action, and to go and visit, some of the folks that actually manufacture towers, for example. It was really interesting, and there's no substitute for that either. And you don't get to do that on your own. And that's one of the advantages of being part of the delegation, is these trips and meetings and things like that are arranged, and you don't have to worry about a thing. Bettina takes care of all the great logistics, and it really is an effortless trip, and you get to do so much. And you learn about various pieces of the supply chain and how you and your business might fit into it. And it gives you a lot of food for thought and things to think about. And if you're new to offshore wind, or even if you're not, it's a perfect intro to the industry. You may feel overwhelmed at first on how do I talk to different companies, and who do I need to talk to, and how do I become a part of this great community that we're building all around the world. And it's really a great way to do that. So when you're at one of these conferences, the business network provides a support system for you, and that you can have meetings in the booth. There's a place that you can go. It sort of gives you a perfect support system while you're there that you otherwise might not have if you were attending on your own. I had 3 meetings in the booth in Bilbao, and it was a great thing to have. And a meeting place, you can tell people that you'll meet them at the business network booth, and it gives you sort of a home base on which to base your how you're going to attack the show. You're going to go to certain sessions, and then you can meet folks in the booth. So it's really nice to have that. And if you're on the fence at all about whether or not you want to attend any of the delegations that are being organized in the future, I would say do it. Yeah, I highly recommend it. I've been to probably a dozen wind conferences in the past, and this was by far the best and most fruitful for me. So it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of work, but highly recommended. And I will be attending Global Offshore Wind in Manchester in a couple of weeks. But I'm exhibiting, so I'll be very busy and won't be able to be a part of that delegation. But I look forward to seeing any of you who might be listening or see this webinar. You'll see one of our sail drones. We'll have a static display, and you can't miss it. So it's a big orange vehicle with a really big sail. It's tall, and you'll be able to see it all around the show floor. So come by and see us, and I'll be happy to talk to you more. And I may also attend WindEnergy in Hamburg later this year. So it's a great community that we're a part of, and I appreciate the offer to share a little bit of my experience with all of you. And thank you, Bettina, and I'll turn it back to you.
Great. Thank you so much, Dave. It's really refreshing to hear that our organized trips do really benefit our delegates. And it's also very exciting to join a large group of people to travel over to Europe. So I really encourage everyone to register for our Global Gateway Export Program. You can also just register and not even go on the trips. Of course, we'd love for you to come on the trips, but we are organizing a lot of webinars and happy to send out information to everyone about our upcoming market webinars and market reports. And for the WindEnergy Hamburg trip, the deadline is July 29th. I can send you some more information with more details, but we really hope that you join us. Again, we're here to support you in your export journey, and here to create introductions for you and make your export journey as smooth as possible. And then finally, I did want to briefly mention some business network for offshore wind services that we have. We have the Supply Chain Connect, where you can enter your organization information, and then developers and will be able to see that you are ready for some operations. And then we have the Foundation of Blade, Offshore Wind Ready, and Offshore Wind 101 courses. And these will give you either a very brief overview of the offshore wind industry or very in-depth, where you can really find out where your organization fits into the supply chain. And finally, we also have a lot of events here in the US, from virtual to in-person events. This fall and early next year will be a busy time. So please check out our website for the events coming up, and we hope to see you all either in Europe, Asia, or South America with us, or here in the US in the home base. And of course, our biggest event, International Offshore Wind Partnering Forum, will be in Baltimore next year, early spring, and we really hope to see you there as well. Again, for any questions, I'm here to support you and really look forward to our future delegation trips. And if you have any questions now, feel free to enter into the chat. I don't think there's any in the Q&A right now. So we'll keep in touch and send out any more information we have about upcoming delegation trips in the future. Thank you so much, everyone. And thank you to our guest speakers, Michael and Dave, today.